Let me get out of frame.
Is it going?
You're on.
Okay, we're on. I think we're live here, guys. Okay, so since you got the mic, Mr. Long, what inspired you to run for the city council?
2 years ago, this city council always in my mind, but I never thought I'd go run it. But because of the political process in our country, and this is the lowest level, if we don't fix it, and the other group taking over, we're gonna be in trouble. Plus, I'm an immigrant from another country. I run away from communists, and I love America. I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to serve our country, and now I'm proud to serve the citizens of Arlington, and that's the reason why I run to give back to my community.
Fantastic. And so you also served in the Army. Is the Army? He was in the Army. What infantry?
I got 3 branches. I started out infantry. I got AG, that's human resources,
Okay.
and then I got finance with counting money.
Okay. Fantastic. How about you, Maurício?
I'm also an immigrant from Brazil. I've been here for 20 years, 10 years in Arlington. I'm a small business owner, and we've been very successful in the business. And the opportunity to run for city council, I believe in giving back to the community and using my skills as an entrepreneur and business owner to cause a positive impact to the community and quality of life of everybody. That's why I'm running for city council.
Fantastic. Raul, you get that same question. Tell us, what inspired you to run for the city council?
I'm originally from El Paso, and I really started with nonprofits, Optimus and Arlington Alliance for Youth, and I just really believed in giving back, especially with the kids. And then Robert Rivera, when he was running, he says, "When are you going to run for office?" I said, "I'm going to do that in El Paso, because you've been here 28 years now, you need to do something." So I was always volunteering there. I got diagnosed with prostate cancer at age 43. My dad retired at 62. He was diagnosed, he was gone 3 years later. And we realized there's not a tomorrow, and I have a second blessing to have another life 18 years later. And I just have to give back, and that's what it's about. I'm not a developer or business owner. I'm just a regular taxpayer like the rest of y'all.
Fantastic. Hang on to the mic. We're just going to kind of go to bang, bang, bang. Okay. How would you describe your leadership style, Raul, and your decision-making approach? How would you describe it?
You know what? I never make a decision until I hear all the facts. I really believe that you have to hear both sides, and you have to ask the questions. Even if the questions are tough and the people don't like them, I feel like as a citizen, we might know the answers, but citizens want to hear those questions asked.
Yep.
They want to hear it in public. We might know the answers, when we go to Trey or whatever, but it's important, and we have to work together. We don't agree on everything, and once the vote's done, that's it. You got to move on. We spoke, that's it. You can't hold grudges. You can't go back and say, "Oh, I voted against that project." It doesn't do any good, and you've got to listen to the people.
No doubt.
No ands, ifs, or buts, because you guys are in the streets. You see what's going on. I live, in South Arlington. I live with my family. That's it. So you all know what's going on, and we're the voice for y'all.
Fantastic. Maurício, you get the same question. How would you describe your leadership style and approach to effective decision making?
In my business, I have a saying, I have several businesses and several people work for me. And I say, nobody works for me, everybody works with me. So we are a team. So I'm a team player, essential team player. I also have the military background. I served the Brazilian Navy 15 years as a lieutenant commander. And like he said, it's very important to be a good steward of the public funds, public money. In my business, it's my money, it's my risk. If I break, I break. But with other people money or investors, when I have investors in some of my projects, you gotta double down, you gotta make sure that you get all the facts. I'm very big proponent of market studies, feasibility analysis, so you know what to expect, and if you're not performing to the expectations, you have to change the course, because what he said, when a vote is done, it's done. So you have to do your homework, understand what's going on before you make the decision. And trust me, like in business, like in life, you're gonna make decisions that people are not gonna like, or at the end of the day, 1 year, 2 years later, you see that was not the best decision, but it was the best decision you could make at the time with the information that you have. Never have regrets, only regret not taking action and doing your best. After it's done, peace of mind, I did my best, move on, let's go for the next. That's my leadership style.
Absolutely. Long, you had the same question. How would you describe your leadership style and your effective decision making?
Well, leadership is about people. So I'm a people person. When I do something, I ask myself 3 questions. I always do what's right. I do the best I can and show the people that I care. That's my leadership style, and it works well for me in the military. And I try to be a good listener. And you can see, you watch all the video council meetings, you don't see me talk a whole lot in all the meetings, because I listened for the past 2 years. And I can tell you this, I learned so much more by listening to all my colleagues talking, because I don't have a lot of experience from hearing them talking and listening to constituents. So listening is a key ingredient to be a good leader, and then work together to get a consensus. When in the case you went up to city council, I know the brother would come up and ask me, a constituent, say, vote for this, vote for that. I say, no, I gotta listen to the people support, people oppose, and I read the agenda, and that evening, I'm gonna cast my vote. And that's how I do it. I don't promise people that I gonna vote this or that, because that poor leadership, you have to listen to all sides. And listening is the key, and leadership is about people.
Fantastic. And so, hang on to that. What do you think sets you apart from other candidates that are running?
Well, number one is I care about our sister in Arlington, because Arlington taxpayer, which all of us, and I work for you, and I always tell people, Arlington, you my boss, I work for you and you only. I don't work for the city, and the city didn't hire me, the city cannot fire me, but you're a taxpayer. I have to care about you and looking out for your tax dollars. And that's very important to me, because before I vote, I gotta think about the taxpayer. So that's a key ingredient. 2 taxes that we big when you get your taxes once a year. The school, which I have no control over, that's the biggest one. Number 2 is the Arlington property tax. In the past 2 years, my colleague and I, we have voted to drop it down. Yes, even though it's saving a little money, I quoted somebody called crumb. That's not crumb. To me, if I can save $60 a month for you, that's $60 you have now you didn't have previous year.
Totally.
So that's very important.
Fantastic. Okay, Maurício. Can you discuss your experience with community engagement and reach? What do you do right now?
Yeah, my very own business, the Golf Center of Arlington, it is a community engagement. We come across 300 people per day, and I try to do, and I actually do, since we started 10 years ago, giving back to the community any way we can. So we have what's up? Right here?
You hold it like this.
Okay.
You'll get
We-
this way.
We have the Special Olympics. It's a group of people, Mike Manuel, some of you know Mike Manuel. They've been coming there, so we have a special price for them, really low price. And we're proud of them, and they come and they get better. They play on the Olympics, or the Special Olympics. So we also have these high schools, the high schools, Arlington and Lamar. They could not practice on the public course, which is the Texas Rangers, after they opened. But they could come and practice in my facility.
Which is a
So-
block away.
Yeah, we used $24 million from the taxpayer money to fund the golf course, and the high schools could not practice there. And I intervened in the process after a year and a half and say, we have to be done. But I was the one taking care of them,
So now they are on the course?
Oh yeah, they are on the course after a while, right?
Good, good.
Somebody have to say hello.
That's right.
And
Fantastic.
then we have, and I'm part of the Rotary Club. Jock is my mentor, got me to the Rotary Club. I'm part of the Veterans Business Alliance on the Arlington Chamber of Commerce. I'm an ally. Jack does a great job there. And I try to help as much as I can. I'm not the type of guy that'll be like, oh, I do this, I do that, I donate as much. Whatever your right hand gives it, your left hand should not know it. It's in the Bible. I keep quiet. People know who I am. I don't need to brag about it.
Okay, so what do you think sets you apart?
Yeah, what it sets me apart, being a small business owner, I'm very engaged with the community.
Okay.
Second, where I came from, so I speak good 4 languages, 5 languages almost. And I'm a minority. How many of you knows any Latin person here in the city? Latinos. How many you know Latino, non-Hispanic? I'm a Latino, no Hispanic. So I'm a minority. So I think I can come across from the minorities. A lot of people put minority in the priority list, so I can relate to them. I can relate to the minorities, I speak different languages, I understand different cultures.
Yep.
I travel 50 countries in the world, and I'm a small business, and I listen to people, and I love dealing with people. That's what sets me apart.
Okay, let's switch mics. I think that was better. If you hold it like here, it'll be better.
Because of
Yeah, you hold it a
I
little
guess
bit
I can
away.
follow the sign
Yeah.
and the signal.
I'm just saying, if
If I
hold it
do
here,
here?
it's a little easier. Okay, and so Raul, tell me, what sets you apart from the other candidates you run against over the last years?
My experience, I was on school board for 10 years. I'm a man of my word, and I like to hear from people. I return phone calls. I don't have an agenda at all. I mean, I really do everything based upon our kids. I moved here when I was 18-year-old. I decided to raise my family here, and that's what I want to do for the city. Make the city the best it can be. I know a lot of people who were grown up here, and I want to make the city what it used to be, and keep our kids here, have a good job and everything else. But my experience, I've had 7 elections. I've only had 2 opponents. Like I said, my integrity, my word is important.
So let's talk about community outreach. What do you discuss your experience with the community outreach that you do? I know you're involved in a ton of events. What other stuff do you do for community outreach? Family and religion's really important in my life. So I'm involved in a lot of faith-based. The Salvation Army, I just love to be able to say Merry Christmas. I like to be able to pray before that just means the world to me. Sure.
I'm also involved with Hope Tutoring. I really believe that's important to give back to the community. I'm not a board member anymore, but I get involved with them. I still get invited to the schools. Being involved in the school district, I get invited all the time for career day, for reading, whatever it is, being judges. And that's our future. You've got to reach to them and show them what it's about. And like I said, even when I'm at City Hall, I'm thinking of you all, but I'm thinking about the kids. What's this going to look like?
Right.
What's this project going to look like? What's Cooper going to look like? What are these homes going to look like in 30 years? And that's important. So I really believe in the future. I want to make this city better for our younger people.
So hang on the mic. Let's talk about pressing issues. What do you think are the top 3 pressing issues for Arlington for this upcoming term?
Number one is the state. I mean, all this, they're taking local control away from us, and that's just, people don't realize how important that is and who's in Austin right now. But, when you're talking about, you can't, you have to approve a gas well, and you really, or not, they're gonna sue you. I mean, you gotta think about the people, and that's what's really difficult, and I hear a lot of my colleagues say it's up to the citizens to contact our legislators. No, that's our job. We're advocates, and that's why, I was in DC this weekend.
That's why you voted in.
And that's why I went over there, and I came back because I am a word. I told them I was gonna be here, came back today,
Yeah.
they're all still over there.
I don't know if you guys know this. He was in Washington DC last night. And came in today just to be here. So I want you to understand dedication. He was in Brazil Saturday, left his wife and kids to be here this week. So I want you to understand, they're at spring break in Brazil. So I want you to understand, these guys really make a huge sacrifice, and they're not paid to do this job. So I want you to understand, everybody talks about how, these guys are all in control and whatever. I'm gonna tell you, the real issue comes down, they volunteer because they care. And this is kind of like, you gotta understand that.
And we get $200 a month. You're never gonna see my name that I own, that I have a business or I did anything while I'm in city council. I really believe you've gotta be, you wanna keep it open, transparent. I see a lot of people that get in office and they start cutting these deals, which that's what they do. But I don't ever want my name involved in that at all. I like
Let's talk
people
about
say-
that, because that was the next question. How would you ensure transparency and accountability in the government right now? How do you, I know you're saying you do that, how do you guarantee that for folks?
You gotta ask the questions. You gotta ask the tough questions.
Yep.
And you can see sometimes when I ask those tough questions, the mayor does not like those tough questions because he knows the answer. He doesn't understand why we do it. I really believe term limits happen because people had questions and they were not being listened to.
Right.
It was a small minority group, but it grew and it grew, and all of a sudden they got the firefighters.
Yep.
And I really believe those people, even though they're always asking questions, they might be negative. If you answer those questions and you tell them that you're listening to them and you answer it, it makes a world of difference. There are some guys that used to come to every meeting. There's one guy that doesn't come to meetings anymore because every time he emails me, I get an answer from staff and you know, and I'll ask that question. He doesn't have to be there to ask it. And that's important, that is critical. And I really believe term limits had a lot to do because of, you know, before that. And when you have people there 20 years and they felt they needed to talk to the people, that's just not right.
Right. Well, and that's why I ask is, what do you, that transparency also rolls over the fact that now that everything is available on Zoom, people can see it since COVID, you know, there's a lot more exposure that you may not see it in the council chamber, but you're seeing it kind of hidden in a way because people are able to see from other venues, they can do it at home.
Well, one thing I never realized until I got on city council is the afternoon session, that's when everything happens. As a citizen, I was watching city council and seeing all these things on the consent agenda, 25 items just voted on.
Bam, 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 bam.
And I didn't realize, like, oh my gosh. And at first when I got on there, I started asking questions in the evening session, and Mayor Williams was mad at me. He's like, no, those are the questions you need to ask. I said, yeah, but there's a lot of people not watching that afternoon session that we discussed. It just looks like, oh yeah, it's a done deal.
Yeah, done.
That's important, so.
Fantastic. Top 3 issues you feel for Arlington.
Yeah, number one, Arlington has to pay attention to balance the growth as we keep our identity. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of construction, a lot of developments, and the neighborhoods feel like they're being left out. So that's number one. Number 2, we need to look at keeping control, low crime. Get the crime low under control. In my district there, we are overdue a police station. It's been under work since 2014. It's been 10 years. It shouldn't take 10 years to get a police station, right? Number 1 priority. Crime prevention, location, police station, crime prevention. And number 3, we need to look for the small businesses. That's why I'm running. So the big businesses are doing pretty good, no question about it, right? Yep. But when you get the big business doing, they suck in all the air from the local economy. There's struggling restaurants out there. There's struggling hotels. There's struggling mom and pop operations. You walk in the city, you see a lot of retail spaces empty, right? And that's the 3 things I think we need to focus on.
Okay, hang on to that. And so let's talk about how do you ensure transparency and accountability in the city government today in your next upcoming term.
Okay, I had a conversation with a person, I forgot the person, I said, I'm gonna do 1 town hall per month. No. We do 1 town hall per year. And I'm gonna be available every month. I'm gonna host one every month. Every month I'm gonna host one. So you see on my website, on my social media, I'm gonna be in that restaurant. Especially every month I'm gonna change a small business, so you have the opportunity to come and support that local business I am. Come and have a dinner with me, have a beer, have margarita, and talk about what I did last month. Transparency and communication. Second, make people aware and communicate with your followers. Having a Facebook account, have your website is not for election cycle only. Once we have all the list of people that are supporting us, I'm gonna keep constant contact with them and making sure they show up for those afternoon sections, like Raul said. I've been going to those sessions for the last 2.5 years. Long nose, and you know, I'm there. I look and I watch and I learn so much, and then I go to the evening session. A lot happened right in front of you, but people don't know about it.
Yeah,
they just don't know about it.
It's a rapid fire.
Yeah, we need to help them, remind them, right? It's not because we have Facebook, Twitter, this, cell phone. It's an overload of information, and people are not getting informed.
Well, it's 180 pages of documents
Exactly.
that are behind that meeting, and they're sitting here talking about, okay, we're going to vote on these 50 things, and all say aye or no, and it's over, and those 50 things are approved. And that's a ton of documents that the public really doesn't see unless they're truly looking for it. So, great answer. Long, tell us, what do you think the top 3 issues are pressing?
The top 3 for me, number 1 had to do with Economic Development Corporation.
Okay.
Because we just hired a new gentleman out of, is it Wilder?
Yeah, Marty.
Yeah.
Marty.
And if you can see, you heard about the Lincoln Square project.
Right.
Now, there's some people that you in there, but when they complete, it's gonna be real nice. And that's a good thing for the city of Arlington. And then number 2 is public safety. I was at a meeting with Chief Al Jones last week. And last year, we, Arlington Council member, we voted the flock cameras, and it works. This year alone, we saw 3 or 4 murders in the city of Arlington. So I asked Chief Jones, what do you need in the future? He said, new technology. So drone is good technology that can save a lot of time and money.
Right.
And also flock cameras. And number 3, infrastructure. A lot of our roads still need a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I know that we have so much money, the capital investment we got for road and maintenance. Usually it fixes all the road that's real bad. You know, in Arlington, if the road real bad, they give condition red, that needs to be fixed ASAP.
Right.
It's okay, we can fix it anytime. That'd be yellow, and green would be a good one. So that's the 3 top things that I would like to focus on. Plus,
Let's talk about transparency. How do you guarantee right now transparency? You're doing that in the council, just like Raul now, but how are you showing people that you're being transparent and open?
well, I have an opportunity last year to open some business. I could make a lot of money and just resign from city council. And I sit down and talk to my wife, I decided not to do that. Because regardless, even though it might not involve city money, but the perception is Long got the deal because of his connection to city council.
Because he's
And
on the
I
council.
turn away from that. So it's not going, I run for this job because I care about the constituent in the city, Arlington, the taxpayer. So that's why I have to be transparent when it comes to, you know,
Sure.
make sure you don't use your title to benefit yourself, your family.
Well, it's kind of like that. You just took kind of the second question I was asking is, what's your vision for economic development in the city of Arlington, and where do you see it going? What do you see, you know, when you're making your plan? I always say, where do I want to be in 20 years from now? Where do you want Arlington to be?
Good question for me, right?
For
Well,
you, you got the mic.
20 years from now, you know, I might be around, I might not be around, but I want to leave it better for my kids and your kids. So it's very important for all new economic development. We have to think a little very carefully. Now, we don't just go out and write a checkbook, okay? Like our city manager said, we give you incentive, but there's return for the incentive. You perform, we give you the money. So we don't give you the money up front, okay? It's just like student loan repayment in the military. You're a doctor and you got student loan. The military make you serve 1.5 years, they pay 1 year back. That's the same thing we do at Economic Development Corporation, because taxpayers voted 7 years ago, quarter pennies go to do that. Plus those, like the Bell helicopter and Lincoln Square, that bring jobs. As long as you bring jobs,
Right.
job. That's very important for
Yeah.
the city.
Absolutely, and I know, you know, the cities, all the numbers for every state is really developed because of the fact that they're bringing in high-paying jobs. I know the Bell job deal brought in, was it 80 new engineers, most of them making over $150,000 or $200,000 a year. These are high-paying jobs that are going to bring people into the city. And how do you plan on supporting not only the big businesses, but small businesses and entrepreneurs in the city?
Well, recently we got a briefing about this program called SCORE that we're gonna focus on the small business. That's very important. And I hope our city Arlington stay on that and truly help the small business, because sometimes the perception is we help the big guy and not the little guy.
Right.
And America's small business run America. So that's why we got to stay focused, stay on point, and help the small business. And we're working on that. And right now we have a program about 6 to 8 months. We do test pilot. I hope they continue to do that and help the small business.
Great. Mauricio, so tell us, what's your vision economically for the city of Arlington? Where do you see Arlington in 20 years from now?
Well, Arlington is already the 3rd biggest city in DFW. We have a lot of resources. It seems like our city is specialized on hospitality, and that brings a little bit of conflict of what we want for the economic development. So everybody knows that the jobs on the hospitality industry, they are not the highest paid jobs. So we really need to diversify a little bit. So I don't like to see all the eggs on the same basket. So if you bring technology companies, if you bring pharmaceutical companies, medical companies, then we have a mix of high-paid jobs and not so high-paid jobs. And the city has to capitalize on the fact that it's the only city in the world that has 3 stadiums in the same location. Yes, we have the World Cup coming.
Say that one more time.
Yeah, we're the only city in the world that has 3 stadiums less than than a quarter of a mile from each other. So I brought some people from Brazil, delegation from the golf industry, the president of the Brazil Federation of Golf, where we're investing in Brazil. They looked at this, they couldn't believe their eyes. They couldn't believe their eyes. Yes, we're gonna host a World Cup. It's beautiful, 9 games. But I have good news and I have not so good news. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil host a World Cup in 2014. And some of the cities are broken 3 years later. Same as the Olympics. Everybody knows you build these giant things, spend a lot of money, put a lot of expectation, but the expectations don't come to fruition if you don't do your homework ahead of hosting those events.
Yep, and that's really critical. You see that right now. You see a lot of the aquatic centers change over to like the college aquatic centers and stuff like that because they can't really. Who else is going to use it?
Exactly.
And so,
In Rio de Janeiro, they are abandoned.
Yeah.
Abandoned. All the stadiums, all the bike things, the aquatics are abandoned. You go South Africa, same thing. Stadiums are abandoned after the World Cup. And that's not the case here. We still have NFL, MLB.
Yep.
But the city has to do homework, especially in traffic control, infrastructure, and safety, public safety.
Yep.
God forbid we have a mass casualty event, we have to be prepared for it.
So let's talk about how you support small businesses and entrepreneurs.
Yeah, small business. 2 ways supporting small business. Streamline regulations, number 1. Well, I'm a living proof of it. I'm 4 years in the line, trying to start construction of my hotel, 4 years to get my permits. And I'm investing 25 million from my own pocket. I'm not taking any money, any incentive, any tax cuts. 4 years. I guess we can do a little better job than that.
Yeah.
And second, incentivize innovation and entrepreneurship. What Raul says is very important. Yes, he's active participating on the incubators in the UTA entrepreneur and business centers. There's a lot of students out there, as soon as they leave UTA, they go out and work in different states and different cities. Why? Other cities are giving a better incentive. I see investment in development and investment. It's like a water that flows in the river. The water follows the path of least resistance. Innovation, entrepreneurship, and investments is the same as water. We have to create a path of least resistance. So the students that graduate in UTA and have some expertise in business and they want to start their own business and they want to invest, we need to take care of them so they don't leave the city. So we're losing a lot of great minds to other locations because we're not doing homework.
Absolutely. And I mean, even yesterday at one of our events, I met a guy that moved from Florida to Arlington, Texas, because of his mentor or someone he was connected with wound up, hey, why don't you come here and I'll retire and take over your business. But guess what? You know, that wouldn't have happened if Arlington wasn't growing. And that's the key right now for economic development, is growth. So Raul, I know, tell me about your vision, 20 years, where do you see Arlington?
Well, where I want to see Arlington is you have strong neighborhoods. That's important. We got to keep that. The economic development. I mean, we've got to create economic money from it. Anything that we do. Marty Weeder coming in. I mean, not only Marty, he's our new guy. He's from Arlington. He went to Arlington High School, went to UTA. He was the guy that did all that stuff on the 161 for Grand Prairie. So we're really excited for him to be here. It's important to bring these jobs that pay well for our students. I mean, it's important. I mean, I don't talk about adding warehouses for Amazon and all that. No, those are good, but we don't need that. We need actual, like the accounting firm that moved from Fort Worth to downtown. Those
Right.
are all UTA students. The incubator.
SPK or something?
Yeah.
SPK.
Yeah, I mean, they're local here. I mean,
Yeah.
they're all Arlington people. I think they're hiring, 25
And
high-paying jobs.
they're all young folk.
And it's an office building. That's the first one, and we're looking at adding office buildings off of I-30 in Collins. So hopefully we start bringing some of those businesses that have offices in downtown Dallas and Fort Worth that they can rather have 2 offices. They're here in Arlington. So that's big. I mean, it's important. Having the city grow, we don't need a lot of people here. You know, we have a problem with attainable housing. I don't call it affordable housing, it's attainable housing. These people can't afford a house, so you gotta have different type of housing for different people.
So let's talk about that, because that's really the next question is, you know, talking about what measures you address to have affordable housing in Arlington and even homelessness in Arlington. How do we prevent that for either veterans or just individuals?
Well, homelessness is not an Arlington problem, it's not a Texas problem. It is a national problem, and it's, you know, my son came back from Europe and says they had homeless people everywhere, so it's really an issue for everyone. It's not ours to fix, but we need to help whatever we can, give them resources. Most of those homeless people, even though we have Mission Arlington, they don't want help, but we've got to do something about it. You know, we don't need them sleeping at the library, we don't need them sleeping, you know, behind
The mailbox room.
Yeah, you don't. And you know, it's important that if you see homeless people, you know, you can call 911 if you see a camp and say it's a non-emergency, just report it because it's important. We're trying to help them. We have a police section that they deal with the homeless. They go out there and help them see what resources they need. But that's key. Attainable housing. I mean, most of you all retired and you want to downsize. I mean, it's hard to downsize with the home right now. So a lot of people that I know, they moved to Mansfield. And because they had some nice homes over there to build with no yards, 0 lot lines. So you got to think outside the box. It's not like, it's amazing to hear these young people, they don't want homes like we have. They don't have to deal with the yard maintenance. They don't want to have to deal with anything. They just want a place to be able to come in.
Sure.
And they want to own it, so.
Well, and that's critical right now, is that there's, being a real estate broker in Arlington for 34 years, I can tell you the market has changed. When I first started, I think my first house was in the $50,000 range. I mean, today the average price is over almost $300,000 today. And so, you know, it's really not quote unquote easily affordable with interest rates over 6 and 8%. And just a month ago, probably closer to 9%. What role do you see technology playing in Arlington's future?
Well, it's critical. I mean, like Maurício said, the incubator companies that are here, that they're coming here, I mean, we purposely did that, and they are young people with innovative ideas that they're looking for funding and everything else. So we're bringing all these financial institutions from all over the United States to come here and listen to these guys and women that give out their ideas and try and get them financing. They give them mentorship programs, like Long said, with regards to small business. Small business are the backbone of Arlington. When he talks about SCORE, that's actually showing them how they need to work on leases, giving them ideas on how to run a business. Most people just start something and think it's easy. Not everybody's as bright as people like this. They don't look at feasibility studies. They just open something. I can't even tell you how many times I've had a gentleman that buy small little stores that somebody sold to them, and then they realize they're losing money, and then they want to change the plan because they want to sell alcohol or something. I mean, they got taken advantage of, and they put their whole life savings into these stores, and you just don't know what to do. And that is so critical. They've got to have the tools and resources. But I'm telling you, that incubator program that we have, there are so many of them that, I mean, there's some great ideas. And it's just wonderful being in the room with young people. And I'm talking about people 19, 20 years old with some of the ideas that they have. It's amazing, and they want to stay here.
Fantastic. And so let's talk about technology, Maurício. This is really kind of like, we're going to have a few questions from the group real quick, and then we're going to buzz through that.
Okay.
Technology.
So yesterday I had the pleasure to do a long meeting with the Arlington Police Association. They endorsed me the very first day of my campaign. I'm proud of it. And the issue was exactly technology. How can we streamline, make more efficient the job of the police? So the drones will allow us to get the scene, control the scene before the second patrol unit come in, and provide more safety for the citizens and the police officer. System, the camera. What's the camera system name? The flock system help us to solve the murders in the city, and to complement the FUSU system, which is convince all the business owners out there and the residents, as many as we can, to have the system to give direct access to the police in case they need the footage. It's not a big brother, they're not going to be spying on you, but they are able to go straight to the recording if they have a fugitive or something, a scene that happened in the middle of the night, 3 a.m., when you're sleeping. They don't have to wait until 10 in the morning to send you an email find you, get authorization to go take a look at the footage. By this time, the guy's already in Houston, like the guys that, the lady in the restaurant, they're already in Houston next day. And they only got caught because of Fuse's camera and the flock camera. So my priority is to get those everywhere. They need flock, 400 more cameras on flock, 600 more microphones to the gun detection, gunshot detection system, and they need 300 more drones. So we gotta make sure we get funding for this technology. The homeless issue, yes, it's an interagency issue. And I wanna say something here, I don't know if you all know. So as soon as I started my campaign, the first visiting I did was in the shelter, life shelter with Debbie. And I don't know if you know my story. I lived 6 months in a tent in Orlando when I came to the United States. I came with $100 and my $100 were now in 2 weeks. I had $1 and I ate noodles for 6 months. I was technically homeless and working. So I understand, I can relate to the cause. And when you go there, 80% of the people there, it's not mental issues or drug addiction. They are there because they cannot afford rent. And 50% of them, they have full-time jobs. So we have a problem of underpaid jobs. It comes back to the last answer that I gave before. So making sure it's not a silver bullet problem that we're gonna shoot and solve the problem. It has to work on different facets. High paid jobs, better opportunities, and the agencies to work and give the help they need.
Technology long?
Well, I
What
guess-
role do you see technology? Any different? Do you have
No,
any?
no, basically, we talked about for public safety, about the flock cameras and the drones, and also too, technology changed the new ballgame today. So, just like I talked to Chief Jones, when you have a drone, they fly around the city, and you have an incident happen. Back in the old days, they contact somebody, take half an hour. Now they can know where all the police officers are located. That officer that's nearby the incident can respond less than 2 or 3 minutes. Come there immediately and solve a lot of issues, help our citizens. So technology, and I tell Chief, you come up with a budget, it's a doable budget, and we, City Council, we support that to make your job easier, and also attract a lot of, we have hard time to recruiting a police officer. We get enough to fill the attrition rate annually, but we need to get a little bit extra so we can have more police on patrol.
Absolutely. Well, I know we could probably talk about another 3 hours on, I've got 150 questions here, and I'm telling you, we've done like 10. So I want you to know that these guys are open for questions. I want to make sure everybody has the same opportunity. Is there a question that wasn't asked that you want to ask? And Mr. Jack Webb, please.
So we got 2 veterans. We have 2 veterans here. Raul, thank you for your support for what we do. This community is very supportive of the Veterans Affairs. As you know, we've got the Medal of Honor Museum coming. Our current mayor has started a group called Veterans Task Force. My concern is we've made some real headway with that. Our neighbor to the west has created an entire department for Veterans Affairs, and we're doing some really good things. Would you support financially having somebody that's a staff or having staff associated with such a department for Veterans Affairs in the Arlington?
Long?
Well,
Right now, it's
I'm
volunteer.
I'm a veteran myself, and I do support I'm a veteran, I do support that program that the mayor got it, but we have to do our due diligence. We need to come out and do some study on it, and have our staff work on it and contact the city west of us, make sure how they do it, because a lot of times it's involved money. And we have to be careful how we navigate to get the funding. And I believe, wholeheartedly, because we have about 650,000 homeless veterans right now in this country. And and the women homeless veteran percentage is a lot higher than the male veterans, homeless veterans. So that's very important. So, but we have to do our due diligence. And if we can get the funding, I wouldn't mind to have small staff, not big staff, and to manage that, to help all veterans in our community.
Do you have any, Maurício, Raul? Let's talk about
Yeah, I'll
that.
support the measure. And like he said, doing due diligence. see the return. I mean, I'm a business owner. Everything I look as a return of investment. What is the return of investment? Sometimes you create a cabinet or a position and you put somebody there that is not doing the job, is there for the extra money, and like he says, everything based on performance. So are we spending the money? Are they performing? Do we have our money back? Return on investment. I support it.
Fantastic.
Yes, I mean, I'd like to hear all the information before making a decision, but obviously, look into it, absolutely, yes.
Any other questions, guys? Go, Steve.
Okay, I don't need the microphone. What about working more with UTA? You know, UTA is known nationwide for being one of the top universities serving veterans. And by the way, 3 stadiums. Well, we have a professional women's basketball team here that plays at a 4th stadium,
Right.
College Park Center. And you know about another football stadium that's just sitting there that's grossly underutilized, the UTA Maverick. And did you know, I am not saying that I support bringing football back to UTA, but there's a new discussion going on. But when you talk about a veterans task force, I want you to consider instructing my good friend Trey Yelverton to have his staff look at doing a joint project with the university. What do you think of that? Working more on creating joint projects.
We've always wanted that. It's been the president's. This president is incredible. There's a lot of things going on with regards to building together, doing things together. It's in the works. It's the best relationship we ever had with UTA. I'm a proud alum. Believe me, I'm on that campus as much as I am in elementary schools and everything else. They're a big economic generator for the city of Arlington. I think it's over $4 billion that come in because of for them. We have to support that university. That's our university. I know many of you went to TCU and all these, but this is our university in our city. We have to work better, and we're doing a lot better. A lot of things that the city, that UTA wants, we're looking at. They're looking at trying to get some type of transportation for the kids. That stadium, it's going to probably be knocked down because there's nothing. They've looked at it, and it's going to be gone.
I think we're going to see more buildings on it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, working with UTA, it's happening right now. I mean, it really is with Jennifer Crowley, Dr. Crowley, and the mayor and city council members that are involved. It's important. So, I mean, we're looking at some developments on Center. In fact, we approved some type of multifamily section across from Center Park, not Center Park, College Park Center, and it was a tough decision for us. And it was a nonprofit that was trying to do a lot of stuff that we weren't happy with. Well, it worked out for the best. They can't build now, so they donated that land to UTA. And those are the kinds of things that you have to work with. So any decision that involves UTA, we ask for their opinion. What do you need from us?
I've got one more question.
Go for it. Good.
All
I'll
right.
answer the question. Yeah, well, I had the privilege to volunteer and work and help on the Business Beyond the Battlefield with Jack Webb also. That was a UTA organization that organized the event to help veterans to open their business and training small business veterans. Yes, there's a lot going on, and I would like to find out more resources and how can we help with the veterans. In regards to the stadium, I always ask myself, I've been on those UTA games, I've been on the Jackals, the rugby game, the XFL, and what it strikes me is that you show up there's only 30% of the seats, the rest is empty. But if we know all the students and the high schoolers and the kids in the city, they cannot afford a ticket like that, we should think about something, getting those kids to fill up the seats. Because it doesn't look good. So they show on the TV 70% is empty. I think we can motivate them and give them a little break so they can participate in what's going on in the city. That way they take pride. They can take pride and they can take ownership. Nothing's gonna happen overnight. It's a process. But if you don't win hearts and minds, especially from the young generation, like Raul was saying, in 10 years or 20 years from now, that was one of the questions. We're not gonna have allies. To win any battle, we need allies. So we need to start making allies right now.
Well, the UTA president is, she's born and raised in Arlington. So just like Raul said earlier, she's been a tremendous help. And the partnership, the collaboration with UTA is awesome. So that's something, if you want to bring it up, we'd be glad to discuss with the mayor. And the mayor and all council members got a great working relationship.
All right, thank you. My last question has to do with something else that involves people in seats. But instead of watching an athletic contest, it has something to do with the arts in Arlington. And what do you think about that? And what can you do to help the arts in Arlington?
Well, you know, the Museum of Art has moved to the entertainment district, and that's important. And if you have not seen the Museum of Art, you're gonna be shocked when you go in there. It's gonna be something that's important.
Doesn't it
Art-
open in a month or something?
Yes.
Opens in a month.
Pompeii is being, they'll be the first exhibit. You know, the Tomorrow Foundation gave money to Theater Arlington. You know, we're involved with that. Arts is important. You gotta have it all. And so when people come for entertainment, that means museums. I mean, that does. Kids wanna go, wives wanna go, they don't wanna go to the football games, all that. So it's important to have that. You know, and back to the UTA question, we are looking at developing something on the corner of Abram and Cooper. That old high school that's there, we're working together with them to see what we can do, whether bringing a hotel for the university or something like that. So we are looking at things like that. I mean, with John Hall, he's an incredible man. I mean, we're working really, really well with him. So, but yeah, the arts is important, and you know, we're working with the schools here. We have so much talent in our high schools with the fine arts department that we're working on that. So.
Well, I'm a big proponent of stay local, keep it local, help the small businesses. On arts, my daughter studies at Jones Academy of Fine Arts. She dances at Mrs. Percy's studio. When I go out at night, I go to the Arlington Theater. I watch the ABBA show, right, back from Sweden. I watch the App Supply, right? And there's so much stuff going on, and I believe you lead by example. So I go to the shows. We donated to the Arlington Theater last year, right? That was the ball. We make a sizable donation. We go into the Museum of Arts, the inauguration. My wife just bought the tickets. And when we go, it's very important to go put on social media, show people, call your friends, say, oh, man, that was awesome. Again, we're picking up traction. We have a new downtown coming up, and we're revitalizing and reviving downtown. People need to know. But if every one of you here, don't tell your neighbor, don't go on the shows. We cannot expect the arts is gonna take off in Arlington. And for last, you know, the hotel that we're building, we hired the urban tree merchants here. So we cut 18 trees in the property. It was authorized, okay? We have the demolition permits, all right? We have the demolition permits. We cut all the trees and we're recycling the trees. Those trees are gonna become chairs and tables and furniture for the entire hotel. We are repurposing the whole thing. I don't know anybody else is doing this. You know, so we do that. So we supplying from a local shopper. All the artwork inside the hotel is gonna be from the guys on what's the name? The Catalyst project, right? The Catalyst in downtown. So I'm doing my part. I'm a small business. I'm only one guy. All I know is this: I can sleep really easy at night because I do my part. But I ask every one of you, not only support my campaign, but do your part too. Do your part, and if everybody does their part, we have no complaints at all.
Now, our arts is very important because I've traveled to San Antonio and I see on the River Walk, all the art stuff that they have over there. I've been to Atlanta, Georgia, and I've seen all of that. And now Arlington, we're working on it. And we're gonna get better, but it's gonna take some time. So I would encourage all of you guys, tell your family when that open, purchase a ticket, go get the tour. I would do that myself. I think we got an invite already, all council members. I definitely get a tour. I'm gonna take a picture, gonna post on Facebook and advertise that for the whole world to see. That's very critical. That's a piece of the pie that makes Arlington great, okay?
I always say where money goes, attention flows. So you know, if you're not involved and showing people what's going on, I mean, people won't go to it and it'll be dead. So, you know, this is the easiest thing. Any other questions, guys? I know you're about to eat lunch and whatever. Any other questions that you have while they're here? Okay, well, I want to give them a round of applause. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Okay, hey, each of you guys, thank you so much. I want to give each of you a hug. And what we do with our lawn Pham, here we go. Thank you. And we use our dues for nonprofit contributions. And where is your $100 going to go to?
Arlington Charities.
All right. You like that, Cal Coast? Yep, he likes that. Maurício, thank you, brother. And where would you like your
Goes to the Arlington shelter, a
Arlington?
live shelter, yes.
Raul, we made a decision where you're going to.
I'm gonna let you pick wherever it needs to go.
He's going to Dance Theater of Arlington because I'm on the board. Oh, hug, yeah.
We always hug each other.
We hug each other all the time. Thank you all. And Chef Cassell, thank you so much. And we're going to make a $100 contribution in thanks to you to a nonprofit good cause.
I'm gonna let Karina pick it.
Karina's going to pick it. Mission Arlington. Okay. Thank you all for coming. Long wants to say something. Oh, yeah.
Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, just walking a little bit later, we have Mr. Larry Mike. He runs for Arlington AISD School Board. I want to stand up. And he runs for place 3. So that's his at large. So if you go vote, when you punch it in, you will see his name on there for place 3.
So come
Okay.
on up, hey,
Yeah.
come on up to
Come up
the
here.
sheriff, he thought was complete.
Can I ask one question in the meantime that I had to shut down, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to ask it, but are all of y'all, any or all of y'all, do you all have opposition or just some of you or what?
Lonnie and I do not have oppositions, we're
You
unopposed.
do not, okay.
And Maurício does
That's
have
two opponents.
opponents, yes.
Two opponents.
You know, one thing that you asked, what sets me apart, when we talk about Levitt, we talk about UTA, I've been a season ticket holder since '99. Levitt, I've been going since open every Friday and Saturday. I'm going not because I got elected, I go because I think it's important to support that. So, you know, that I think that says a lot about what happens with all of us. So it's good to see these guys coming to those events. But it's important to be part of the community and be seen. So, thank you.
Just give me 30 seconds before I go. I'd like to commend Mr. Longfan and Mr. Raul. They are unopposed. They're unopposed. I mean, it's in the bag. It's done. All they need is one vote. They are campaigning. They are going to the communities. They are going to the forums. They are coming here. They stop what they're doing to come and talk to people. That shows the level of commitment. So a round of applause for them if you can, please.
Hey, before you guys finish, you take photos. Is it on?
I'll just be real quick. My name is Larry Mike. I'm running for Arlington AISD School Board Place 3. I'm an Air Force veteran of 10 years, 4 months, 28 days. If you were in the Air Force, I was OSI, so I didn't really have a lot of friends. I'm also a lawyer, and I own a drug testing and DNA testing company in Fort Worth and Cleburne. But I'm running because I believe that education is instrumental in changing lives. I'm a product of that. I remember growing up in a trailer, eating the government peanut butter and the government cheese, to the parents actually giving us a house and providing for our needs. And I want to bring that same thing to our students here, where they understand about leadership and service and ensuring that all roads lead to student achievement. We are block walking every single day, so we're probably going to hit one of your houses. If we miss you, there's several forums coming up, and we would love to get your vote for this very important venture. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to do a group picture. Karina's she's the picture gal. So we're going to get our candidates back up here again, please. I'll leave you to set it up. Yeah, you guys. You guys.
I ran into Jason at the Capitol. We're meeting with groups and the student body president from PTA was there. And Seth Russell and Jeff Keeter were there. And they saw me. It was real quick to see the show. And he was up on the she's